All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to the November 13th business meeting of the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees. Call the meeting to order at 7:39. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, I got to make one note of clarification. We are returning to open session. We had to open the session to go to closed session. We've been discussing evaluations for an hour. So now we're back in open session where we actually do the business of the township. The entire board is present, so we'll move right into tonight's agenda. And first, I'm going to ask the board's permission to invite our state representative to speak as an added presentation if there are no dissent among the board. And Darren, if you give me just 1 second, at this time, any other additions, deletions to tonight's agenda? Oh, actually, we do have one, don't we? we do have one. In that case, I will request we add, it'll be action item 5, which will be, okay.
Winter tax levy.
In addition to the winter tax levy, and we'll discuss it when it comes up. But we know we have to do this. So those in favor of adding action item 5, the winter tax levy revision, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. Any other additions, deletions to tonight's agenda? None offered. Those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. Now that we know what we're doing for this tonight, Mr. Camilleri, welcome to Grosse Ile Township. Welcome back to Grosse Ile Township.
Thank you. I've been here very many times. I appreciate the warm welcome. So my name is State Representative Darren Camilleri. I represent the Township of Grosse Ile as well as the City of Gibraltar, City of Trenton, City of Woodhaven, the Townships of Brownstown and Huron as well. It has been a year since I've been elected, so we've been pretty busy, and I can't believe it's been this long so far. I just wanted to provide you with a quick legislative update as well as some of the community work that I've been doing the past 11 months. And just open up the floor for any questions if there are any. So first and foremost, we've been busy to engage in the community in every way possible. I have held 3 coffee hours a month and will continue to do so into next month in December. And then next year in 2018, we'll be switching up the calendar a little bit. We'll just be doing 2 so we can get a little bit more attendance, 1 in the early afternoon and 1 in the evening. We'll be sending out a newsletter actually next month that'll detail all of that information, and we'll put up on my website once it's available as well. I visited almost every school in the district. I was at Grosse Ile High for homecoming this year. I passed out some apple cider as people were walking into the game. It was a really great time and got to engage with a lot of community members. Have held a lot of different meet and greets in different capacities, and I'm looking forward to doing so again pretty soon. Actually, there's a resident here on the island who's going to be opening up her home to talk a little bit about women's issues and things like that, which I'm really excited about. Let's see. Oh, I had a couple of interns from Grosse Ile actually work with my office this summer. Skylar Leslie and Jake Porcerelli, Chief Porcerelli's son. They both did an incredible job engaging with community members, working on some pieces of legislation for me, and I really saw the spark for public service really in their eyes the entire summer. So I was excited to have these young people involved in the work that we're doing. Legislatively, some of the hot topic issues, if you have been paying attention, include auto insurance, as well as a couple of things around schools. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about the auto insurance proposal. So House Bill 5013 was introduced by Speaker Tom Leonard as well as Mayor Mike Duggan. I was really undecided for the entire process of what I was going to do with this bill. I heard a lot of different stories and testimonies from constituents, from people who are stakeholders in the industry, as well as consumer advocates and all kinds of people involved in this process. It took me a long time to come to the decision that I did. I ended up voting against the proposal. Not that I didn't see some merit in the bill, because there were some pieces of the bill that I thought were quite good, actually. But overall, I felt that the impact would have been negative for residents here downriver, that I wasn't willing to stake my yes vote for a piece of legislation that not only was not going to pass based on the numbers that evening, but the state Senate promised that it was not going to become law as well. So through the entire process, I'll just give you a basic rundown of what happened with the auto insurance bill. Essentially, some proponents of the bill wanted to see what's called PIP choice, where you would have personal injury protection options for different levels of coverage. The lowest being $250,000, $500,000, and then unlimited, which is the current system. Under the $250,000 proposal, you would be able to have used $225,000 for immediate hospital care, then $25,000 for long-term care. Under the current system, if you are in a catastrophic accident, you can use long-term care services for the rest of your life. So having that strong cap on $25,000 for those who would be in a catastrophic accident was far too low in my mind, where you see people who meet that cap the first day of their long-term care services. So the alternative is if you do not have the current system that we have in place, the alternative is you go to Medicaid. But the only way you get on Medicaid is if you spend down all of your assets and you have to go into poverty, where literally the only money you can have in your bank is $2,000. For me, I don't think that's a fair trade-off, because here's the key point. Every other state that has PIP choice, they also allow for the ability to sue for recourse to gain those additional long-term care services over the cap that they have. Under the current proposal, you could not sue. You could not sue anybody to get that long-term care. So I didn't feel like that was the right choice to make for all of us, particularly when the state Senate promised that it was not going to go anywhere based on the current proposal. There's an alternative set of proposals to lower the rates for auto insurance, all of which I am supporting and going to be championing. There's a few key components that we actually all agree on, that almost the entire House agrees that seniors should be able to opt out of the PIP portion because of their Medicaid and be able to coordinate with that. That's something I strongly believe in and want to see passed into law. And my hope is that we can actually do something on that, because everybody agrees with that component of it. We all agree that there needs to be a fraud authority so that we're holding hospitals and trial lawyers and individuals accountable for abuses in the system. That's something that I want to see happen as well. And there's a few other things that we can actually see move, I think, before the end of next term. So we'll be hosting a few more informational sessions around auto insurance. We're actually going to be trying to coordinate a teletown hall, so that you can just pick up the phone and we can have a town hall on the phone together to talk a little bit more about some of the proposals and things that I'm championing. I believe in auto no-fault reform. I just don't believe that HB 5013 was the answer. And that's been the big thing that we've been dealing with for the last couple of weeks. Another thing to note that will be coming to the floor potentially, two school-related issues. One is a charter school millage that essentially would allow charter schools to have access to our county millages that we've passed for our traditional public schools. So last year in 2016, Wayne County passed a millage to allow additional enhancement dollars to go to our traditional public schools. For every student here in Groseal, as well as across Wayne County, it's about $100 per pupil in additional money that's levied on your taxes. Under this current proposal that came through the Senate as well as the House Education Committee where I sit, they want to take that millage money that we all voted on as Wayne County residents and divert it to charter schools. So they would then become eligible for that funds, both nonprofit and for-profit charter schools. Essentially, because we are the biggest county in the state, we also have the most charter schools in the state of Michigan. Through my House district, so all 6 communities that I represent, we'd see a loss of $1.4 million from our traditional public schools going into these different charter schools, mostly in Detroit. We do have a couple downriver, but most of them are housed in the city of Detroit. I just don't believe that that's fair. I don't think that that is respectful of the voters' intent. And I also don't think that for-profit management companies should have access to our public dollars, where they take 10% of the revenue off the top of our public dollars and just put it in their pockets, or we don't have any transparency around where that goes. So I offered an amendment in committee to stop for-profit schools from getting access to that fund. It failed on a 9-5 vote. The only hope I do have, and there is a little bit of hope around this, is that the bill was scheduled to be voted on by the entire House of Representatives on the floor last week. They pulled it, which when you put something on the agenda and you pull it off, usually means it's dead. So potentially there are enough Republicans to help block the vote because they don't want to see their millage money go to these schools either. It's not for sure, but that's where we currently are, and I'm thankful that we're in this position. The second thing to note is that the state Senate just recently voted on and passed a bill that would allow more guns in our schools, our bars, and our other public areas. We imagine that the same conversation is going to happen in the House when we return from our recess in the beginning of December. I am firmly opposed to that type of legislation, and the governor as well has indicated that he will veto it if it does pass. But those are two hot topic things that are coming up in regards to education. As always, I'm available for conversation via email, via social media, or in person at any of my meetings. We are having, this is something that I hope you guys can help push, a Veterans Town Hall on Wednesday. It is with a few representatives from Wayne County, the VA, State Senator David Kniezek, who's an Iraq War veteran himself. It's going to be at Trenton City Hall at 6 o'clock this Wednesday. And so I'll be available that day as well. And as always, my office from Representative Camilleri's office, repcamilleri.com, is where you can find me. So happy to take any questions if you have any.
Well, one of the things I'd like to sit down with you on is how do we get the vestiges of the Headley Amendment out of the state constitution, what I call the hostage sessions. And we talked about that, about, we got to raise taxes, Reward those communities that are making those public officials, those communities, those residents who are making their communities better. People buy those homes, but they don't get, the property value comes up, but the community doesn't get that value because it's ratcheted off on the other end with Headley rollbacks. Without Headley rollbacks, we'd have a budget surplus. Grosse Ile Township would have a budget surplus now. All goes back to the good old days when the mindset was you'll never lose money on property. Property values will always increase. Surprise, didn't work out that way. So we have a way of controlling property values increasing, but we had no mechanism for when they catastrophically decreased, which we all went through and we're all trying to fight our way back out of. It's killing us. I mean, it really is. The county did away with allocation boards because we don't need to increase allocations. We don't need to look at that again. Property values are always going to rise. So somehow, if I can get some of the other, I know there's other community leaders downriver throughout the state that, oh yeah, Headley's killing us. Headley's killing us. My community, I think, is doing a great job on improving value, improving property values that people want to live here. The houses are selling. Property values are going up. We lose it on the other end. It's killing us.
Yeah. Another thing to note as well, thinking about some of the roles that you guys will be playing in terms of your own employees, with police, with fire, with municipal employees, there's a strong conversation that will be happening in December around OPEB and pension reform that makes me very nervous, quite frankly. I believe that they will want to impose more restrictions on you and your ability to govern locally with your own pension boards. They believe that some communities, because their pension funds are 0 to 10% to 20% funded, that therefore we have to have an entire state program to fix it. I don't believe that that's true, or I believe that many of you have already addressed these problems over the last decade and figured out, okay, so we've had a problem, we fixed it, we're now 80% funded, some of you are 100% funded. They're going to want to come back and change it, I think. So just be aware that this conversation will be happening in December. They've guaranteed it, and it's particularly going to be affecting our police and fire.
Nelson.
You know anything about the free bridge that you could show?
The Wayne County Bridge. It isn't free.
I'm sorry.
The taxpayer-funded Wayne County Bridge. I wish I had more of an update. I keep up with Supervisor Loftus and all of his messages around it. I'm going to keep on it throughout my break as well as into the next month because I've had more conversations about what's happening in Huron Township around their bridge because they're doing a total reconstruct of their downtown bridge. Maybe we're looking at some significant repairs of this one as well, and we'll see what Wayne County wants to do with that. But they did fast-track the Huron Township Bridge, where previously it was at the bottom of the list. Literally, it moved to the top, and it's a $3 million project. So they do see the need for investment in these bridges in this area of Wayne County. They did the inspection. They decided to completely close it. My hope is that that's not where we're going to be with this bridge, where they completely close it. I want them to try to keep it open because we've already had a lot of trouble with the various closures around town. So I'll be in contact with Commissioner Palomera as well as others in the executive's office as well.
Is there anything you can do to push it along? We were promised a report August 18th that slipped into September, and now we're knocking on end of November coming up, and we still don't have any kind of an idea what's going on. And I have citizens, and I think everyone here has citizens that come up to us and say, what's going on with the bridge? We're waiting for Wayne County. I'm tired of waiting. I'd like to know if there's anything that can be done and what you can do to help us move that process along.
Yep. So I can definitely ask. I can be one of those champions to push that through because I did not know that you're promised a deadline for when that report would be done. So I can definitely follow up with. Even verbally, I still want to follow up on it because I think that's important. If they're going to tell you one thing, they should stick to it. And if not, they should
10,400
tell you
people.
why.
10,400 people that rely on that bridge and on the toll bridge. And it's not a good picture for any of them or for any of us here. I really would like to have something where we have an idea with a plan going forward, with a chronological timetable, what's going to happen, what the report shows, so that we can take a look at it and get an understanding as to what's going on. We can let the community know.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. So I will reach out to the executive's office as well as to Commissioner Palmera and see what type of information they can give with me, and I'll share it with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, with that, Darren, thanks.
Thank
good
you
to
very
see
much.
you again, and
Good to see you.
we'll be talking.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thank you.
See ya. All right, with that, let's we've approved the agenda. Let's brief public comment on tonight's agenda items. Is there any public comment on tonight's agenda? All right, with none offered, we'll move on to the clerk.
And Woody, as you come up to the microphone, Carl and I, and we already spoke with Angie. We've been having some complaints from residents who can't hear our speaking when they're watching the meeting on Channel 10. It doesn't seem to be as big a problem when people are watching on the internet, but I think it's becoming. Angie pointed out that we need to speak like within a few inches into the microphone. So. If you want to lift up,
I don't want to eat it, but I'll get there close.
well, we want people to hear what you have to say, and we're trying to fix the situation. So one way is to remember ourselves that we need to speak right into that microphone.
Okay. Dump the junk this year didn't get as much as they did last year, but we have some of this cash is going to go to the animal shelter and Gardens of Hope. So these people can come up and...
I know Joe is happy for the, he's already passing it out, getting it ready to put in the bank. We're not that quick, but I just want to thank you and thank the members that have provided us with this generous gift. Between you folks and the Rotary Club here on Groseal and a few others, we have been able to go ahead and establish a good program here. Tomorrow, if any of you have time, 1:20, a bus will be coming in from the Wyandotte school system. The children that have special needs will be coming in, and they'll be working with us for an hour. And just a special thanks, since I'm on TV and I can do this one time. There is a family here on Groseal who has a child in that program, and they have contacted and worked out an $1,800 gift to the other bridge. And they come over now directly from Wyandotte to be able to bring the kids over here once a week for the rest of the school year. To whoever that family is, thank you so very much. That's an $800 gift. And if you'd like to come down and get your hands dirty, I haven't seen clean hands in years. Come on down tomorrow about 1:20 when the kids arrive. It is wonderful. Thank you.
Sir,
Mike, thank you.
would you introduce yourself?
I'm sorry, Michael Johnson.
And where are you guys going to be working tomorrow?
We rent from Westcroft Gardens, and we have 2 facilities behind in one of the backfields, and you are very welcome to come down. And if I don't remember you, please come up. 74 years is going quickly, guys. Thank you very much. Carl.
Thank you, Mike. Good
Just
to
one
see
more
you.
thing. Just one more. Mike? Maybe it was just unclear with me. Exactly what are they doing?
Out this year, about fresh vegetables to the Gibraltar pantry. Whoops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, start again, Mike.
I know, I heard as soon as I heard it. We grow year-round at Westcroft. We have specialized houses, but they're basically facilities that do not have electricity, and we're still able to use the sun and be able to grow year-round. So we have about 2.5 tons of fresh vegetables that have gone to some local people here on Groseal and to the Gibraltar pantries for the past 2 years now.
I wasn't aware of that. How long has this program been going on?
I guess I got sucked into it about 3 years ago, and we've done production for 2 years now, and the Rotary Club has been very helpful in their monetary guidance. And for that, we intend to keep on going. And we're looking at new generations. As a matter of fact, the young lady with me here, Danielle, she and her husband are coming on big time, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to kind of fade into the background.
And I guess I apologize. I wasn't aware that this program was even going. Sounds like it's great.
You have to read the local
realize...
newspapers.
Pardon?
You have to read the local newspapers.
Well,
But thank you anyway.
But I don't know. Perhaps at some point in the future, you could do just maybe a small presentation at the board meeting and get it televised.
Be glad to.
I mean, I'm asking for myself. I just think it's a wonderful program, but. Perhaps in the near future, in the future.
There are days it'll bring you to tears. There are days when we just know that we're helping people, and that's what we're all about.
But if we could,
helping the people.
Because I don't read the newspaper. If we could
I'd be glad to personally.
If we could put it, we could put it. It could be just a small presentation on TV, and perhaps get out to a little broader.
We would appreciate that.
I'm not sure if that'd be appropriate. I'd certainly like to see it.
Mike, I think you and your brother, this isn't a fly-by-night operation. You and your brother may have been doing this for 3 years, but my recollection is that there's considerable education and preparation that the two of you have been involved in to make this a success.
We've done a bit of that. It was 2 years prior to that we started working with the Michigan State University group, and we are now connecting with the Wayne County and the Michigan State University group to be able to have this become an urban farming tool that can be used in southern Wayne County, not only for Groseal, although we have the most room over here to be able to work a project like this. I think that, we get around a long time.
Yeah, and Mike,
thank you very much.
We've done this before. We've had an elementary class attend a board meeting, and I'm not sure if it's appropriate or not, but perhaps a few of your students, your workers could attend, on the night that you did this, could attend.
Workers are easy. We have some great volunteers that are down there.
And I'm talking about the children as well as adults. So
we'd have to get permission from the schools to be able to have them attend a public hearing.
That's why I say I'm not sure whether I'm using the word appropriate or not, but
I hear you. I welcome it.
It'd certainly be nice to get the word out to maybe a broader.
I would appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right. Yeah. Oh. Go ahead. It's all good.
North Ridge Church, across the street here, or not across from the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where it is. It's across the street from the police station. And our group of volunteers and the Goodfellows are getting together on Saturday, and we are collecting fresh products from our gardens and the work of the ladies at Northbridge. And the Goodfellows are going to be passing out fresh produce for the Thanksgiving season on Saturday at the police station. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Now that we're all in a good mood, let's move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda 17-054, which includes the minutes of the October 20th, 2017 special meeting, the minutes of the October 20th, 2017 closed session meeting, the minutes of the October 23rd, 2017 regular meeting, check register dated through November 10th, 2017, and the Township Board's attendance at holiday event resolution.
Support.
Okay, moved by the treasurer, seconded by trustee Budney. Questions, comments among the board?
Supervisor, I was not present for the October 23, 2017 regular meeting. I will abstain on that portion, that is number 3 of the consent agenda.
Noted. Questions, comments from the board? None offered. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda, with the exception of trustee Bletcher, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None offered. That is approved. With that, we will move into tonight's action items. And Mr. Nelson.
Good evening, everybody. Woody, it's always a pleasure to see you. Kathy's is looking for you, though, so would you stop in and get something? Okay, no. I have a motion that I need to read and get a second on. It involves recommending George Fulmer and Tricia Eblin to the Festival Commission for a term of 3 years.
Okay, move. Who's second by?
Support.
Did I hear a second? Okay, moved by trustee Nelson, seconded by trustee Budney. Tell us more.
The history and purpose of this is Mr. Fulmer and Miss Eblin were voted individually on a 4-0 vote during the Festival Commission meeting held Wednesday, October 18th, 2017. Dave Zula and Nick Bader resigned from the Festival Commission. Dave Zula and Nick Bader.
Okay. Novak, you have any comments on the incoming members? Do you have any?
Trish has lived here 4 years, and she approached us. Of course, all of our new commissioners have to come to us. We don't go out and seek them. They come and tell us what they're about. She's got a lot of energy. She's got a senior and one in middle school, a child in middle school. And then Mr. Fulmer is very active with all the sports organizations, which we can definitely use on Festival Commission. And he also has 2 children, possibly 3. George, I'm so sorry. 2, thanks. 2 children that are in Groseal schools, too. So I think they're going to be great fits. They got a lot of fresh ideas. They don't know all the ins and outs, but they will. And so they come highly recommended from our whole Festival Commission.
And I have just one question. Is it your birthday today?
It is my birthday
okay,
today.
Well,
yes. Thanks.
Happy birthday.
I'll be back up with Miss O'Farrell in a minute.
all right. Okay, with that, those in favor of approving the appointments of George Fulmer and Trish Eblin to the Festival Commission for 3-year terms, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None offered.
Thanks,
George,
Chad.
Trish, welcome aboard. Item number 2, Mr. Budney.
Yes, sir. It's that time of the year again. And I have a motion based on the recommendation of the DPS Commission to enter into an agreement with Wayne County for priority winter maintenance service to the following local roads for the 2017-2018 winter snow season, with the township and county each sharing half of the cost. The roads involved are Bellevue Road between Meridian Road and East River, Church Road between East River Road to West River Road, Ferry Road, East River Road to West River Road, Grays Drive, Meridian to East River Road, Horse Mill, Meridian Road to East River Road, Lions Drive, Macomb Street to Grays Drive, Manchester Road, East River Road to Meridian Road, Meridian Road, Bridge Road to Park Lane, Park Lane from Bridge Road to Church Road, Park Lane from Church Road to Oak River Drive, and Park Lane from Ferry Road to Bellevue Road, and South Point Grow to Albemarle Road.
Okay, moved by trustee Buddy, seconded by treasurer Van Oss.
The history is this is something that we have been doing for for a number of years. Cost of this, we pay for half of the expense. It's been as high in years as $38,000 and as low as $10,000. This year, for this year, it's $21,319.82. It covers 21.40 lane miles of roadway, which equals about $996 per mile. And it gets them out there to clear these roads, so basically so our buses can get through and get.
If you read the routes that are going to be cleared on the priority basis, it looks like school bus.
It looks like school bus routes.
Did you have Mr. Nelson?
Not that I'm against this, but I just wonder, have we evaluated when they get here and do they do a good job, Chief? I mean, is money well spent? I would hope.
We do evaluate. We have evaluated.
Yeah, and they do. They get here early in the morning.
Yeah, what we've checked each year is we've gone through, and I've had the midnight shift. Most of the heavy snows do come through overnight, but to see how long they take, and it's a fairly quick response. I mean, they've done a pretty good job. The difference is this: remember, when they come out, because you get priority snow plowing, it's not because they're ahead of everyone else coming out. They may wait 6-8 hours before they send all the trucks out, and then we get the priority. But some people thought, well, how come we're not getting plowed out? They're waiting so long. Well, all of Wayne County has waited long, so that confused some people, and it didn't seem like we were getting priority. But when they call their workers out, we do get the priority. But they do hold up sometimes.
Yeah, and when they come out, I mean, they don't just take one go through once and they're done. They will come back again and again and again, depending on, obviously, on the snowfall.
Right.
So, we believe on the DPS commission, we believe it's a worthwhile price to pay.
Thanks, Chief. Any other questions, comments from the board? Okay, those in favor of, based on the recommendation of the DPS commission to enter into the agreement with Wayne County for supplemental priority winter road maintenance for 2017-18. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. That will pass. Thank you. Action item number 3. And I will move the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees resolve to authorize and direct the supervisor to file an application with the Lighthouse Assistance Program for a grant not to exceed $36,000. Local matching funds from Grosse Ile Historical Society Lighthouse Fund of $12,000 for repair and restoration of the Grosse Ile Light. The board further resolves that upon approval of this application, the township supervisor is authorized to sign the grant agreement, any amendments thereto, other agreement-related documents, and the required historic preservation easement.
Support.
Okay, moved by the supervisor, seconded by Treasurer Van Oss. Background: Grosse Ile Light, formerly heard it referred to as the Grosse Ile North Channel Front Range Light. That designation changed at about 1917. We were looking at replicating, preserving the lighthouse as it served the community from 1917 through 1963. Not just served the community, but it served navigation in the lower Detroit River. Some more, let's see. It's the only remaining wooden lighthouse on the Detroit River and the only lighthouse in Wayne County open to the public. Repairs will include, but not be limited to, replacement of rotted or missing exterior wood siding, trim and windowsills, doors and door hardware, power washing, sanding, painting the entire exterior, repairs and corrosion control for the foundation. Treasurer of the Historical Society is here. Gary and I have been working on this grant application. I want to get Margie fully trained in grant applications going forward because it's a lot of work, and it's this resolution is just been modified from the resolution that was passed in 2006. Last time we painted it. 11 years of it sitting out there getting beat up is a long time to expect of a paint job. It needs to be painted. It needs to be sealed. It needs to be preserved. So there are no township funds involved in this other than time for myself and Mrs. Gate. Gary, you got is there anything you want to say? The Lighthouse, the Historical Society did approve the expenditure of the funds in the Lighthouse account, the up to, but not to exceed $12,000. I'm looking at 11. If we get what we're asking for, it'll be 11.2 from the Historical Society. Questions, comments? Those in favor of approving the resolution to authorize to file for the application of the Michigan Lighthouse Assistance Program, grant not to exceed $36,000, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered? Thank you. Gary, thanks for coming. Move on, action item number 4. Recreation again, Mr. Nelson.
I'm on fire tonight, apparently. This motion is to award the ADA electrical operated access door bid to JCW Construction, 11,000 West McNichols, Suite 307, Detroit, Michigan, 48221, in the amount of $16,773.50. And it would be
Support.
I'm sorry.
I'll second it. Okay. Take it away.
Well, I'd like to have Kim O'Farrell come up. She obviously had the hands-on to do all this, and as usual, has done a wonderful job. She can explain it to you much better than I can.
Good evening, Board. When I first started, and I know Dale can kind of talk about the grant dollars with Wayne County, there was an approval, and I don't have the exact number, I apologize. It was around $22,000 for ADA compliance money, grant dollars that we could use. And I believe in the first round, Dale, and correct me if I'm wrong, we were trying to get that grant together for the Centennial Farm floor. And then those dollars, when the bid went out, it obviously exceeded $10,000. So we were not able to be approved for the grant dollars for the floor. But it was put in the budget, so the floor was covered with recreation dollar budget. And so when I was talking to Wayne County, what can I do? What can I do? I have to use this money. So just evaluating what can I do to improve the farm, I spoke with Terry Carroll, and I went for the access doors. Obviously, we have a lot of seniors, mainly seniors, use the farm. We have rentals and so forth, but a lot of our exercise classes are geared towards seniors. So when I spoke to Wayne County, they did approve that project. We went out for bid. We only got one bid, and Dale and I worked on that together, and this was the bid that we felt comfortable with. I have priced this project before, so it's around that amount of money. It wasn't over or under. I didn't see anything wrong with the bid that we did receive. So, and the doors do need done at the farm. I think everybody's been out there. We are having some trouble with the door, and also it's not handicap accessible to our seniors or anyone walking in those doors. So again, this is all grant money. It is not coming out of the recreation budget. This has been approved by Wayne County. So I'd like to get that approved and get this project done hopefully as soon as possible. We need to get the contract signed before December 31st of this year, or we will lose that money.
Questions, comments from the board? We're waiting for somebody to answer a phone up here, but that's okay. Well, with last chance, with no questions, those in favor of awarding the ADA electric operated access doors to JCW Construction, 11,000 West McNichols, Suite 307, Detroit, Michigan, in the amount of $16,773.50, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered? That will carry.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim. Let's see. Well, I'll introduce this one. It's recommend the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees resolve that there be levied on the taxable value of the said township for the year 2017 winter billing a tax of 10.9370 mils on the taxable value thereof, said value being $589,196,415. Support. Give that to Trustee Budney. We had to revise our winter tax levy because fortunately the police millage passed. Thank you, Grosse Ile voters. But it did cause us to have to amend our tax levy. So the total number I gave was all of the things that are going on the winter tax levy. And it passed. We can pay the bills, or most of them. Questions, comments from the board? Again, I was very happy with the turnout, or the way the vote went. It was overwhelmingly supported. So good job, police department, and thank you, Grosse Ile voters. Those in favor of approving the levy on the taxable value of the township for the year 2017 winter billing, a tax of 10.9370 mils on the taxable value of the real property of the township, that value being $589,196,415. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered? It is so levied. That does conclude tonight's action items. With that, Madam Clerk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. So the first thing is, of course, the election that we had on Tuesday, November 8th. It was our first election with the new election equipment that was implemented this year for all jurisdictions in the state of Michigan. The cost of our equipment was partially paid for under a federal grant, and then the remaining costs were paid for by our local budgeted funds, which in Grosse Ile's case was about $2,456,000. $20,004. Oh my God. Been a long day. No excuse though. $20,456. The equipment purchased was 6 tabulators, 3 handicapped voter assist terminals, 1 high-speed ballot scanner, which we used in the ballot on the counting absentee ballots, and a computer tabulation system, and 2 election reporting computer terminals. The new equipment performed very well, both in the testing and when we used it on Election Day. There were no issues reported at the precincts or in our AV counting board. That said, it was a small election for Grosse Ile. We appreciate all the people that did come out to vote, albeit only 19%. We have 8,797 registered voters, and only 1,672 ballots were cast. So the yes votes were 1,242, and the no votes were 425. What was interesting about this election, though, is we had a really nice teamwork among our senior election inspectors and our junior election inspectors. If you read the News Herald, they did a small column. We hired for each precinct up to 2 pre-voters, kids 17 and 16 years old, as we are allowed to do by state election law. And they worked with the rest of the team, I think mostly boosting their confidence and working with the electronics and the digital equipment. But what my son was one of those kids, and what he came away with was a really new appreciation of not only the process, but the people who have been working as our poll inspectors for many years. He had a very good experience getting to know each other, and I heard this from the kids that worked in all of our precinct locations. So the seniors enjoyed getting to know the kids and vice versa. So we hope that this will give us a nice preparation for next year's midterm elections, which of course we hope obviously there will be much more on the ballot, and we hope there will be a much bigger voter turnout. So the second problem that I want to bring up is, as you know, I mentioned earlier, as we were working through the precincts, people would come up to me, and tonight even at dinner came up to Carl and me saying that when they try to watch our meeting on Channel 10, that they can see the meeting, they appreciate being able to see the meeting, but they can't hear much of what is being said. And so I know our cable department is aware of the situation. This is an ongoing problem we've had for a long time. Apparently, the signal is leaving the building, and it's leaving the building strong. But somewhere when it gets into the Comcast system, it loses the volume. And we're really trying to get it fixed. And every now and then we think we have it fixed, and then we find out again that we don't. Unfortunately, a lot of people who are watching us on television do not have computers and are not able to watch our meeting being streamed or played over the computer. So I just want to let people know that this is something we're trying to work on, and obviously those who can't hear me won't know what I'm saying, but you know, the futility of making such an announcement, but know that we are working on it. The other thing that people tended to ask quite a bit on Election Day was, what the heck is going out in the Detroit River off of East River? They saw these barges working on these mountains of rocks, and apparently some of our people don't come to the east side of the island very often, except on Election Day when their precinct is at St. James Church. So I asked Dale, and he gave me some information, and I just want to share it real quick. And it's a project through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and they received permission and funding to restore and create shoal areas around Stony Island. And of course, they have very detailed information about this, how many cubic yards, etc. But the purpose of these shoals is, one, to create and restore mud puppy habitat. I always liked saying mud puppies ever since I was a little kid. They are installing 50 basking log bundles. No, it says bungles. Who knew? And they're going to be anchored, and these are places, I am assuming, for turtles, upon which turtles will rest. Right. They're creating a fish spawning habitat in 13 areas, so good news for the fisher people. They are creating 3 new nesting areas for the wild birds in the International Wildlife Circle, and they are creating a hibernacular structure for snakes. So pretty interesting effort to protect and restore our coastal wetlands that provide the habitat for all the species that really help make our island a very special place. And I think that is it for me.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Uta, you might be interested to know that there's also a beaver lodge over on Stony Island now.
I am pleased to hear that, Tom.
And they're cutting down the trees. We may have to do something about that.
That's what beavers do. Okay, I'm sorry. Treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer.
For the month of September, Grosse-Ile Township had a total of $21,602,183 and some change invested in various accounts. These accounts generated a total of $8,347 worth of interest. The investment interest rate averaged at a 0.75%. Not good, but better than it has been. Current breakdown of these investments are always available on my website at grosshill.com, the Treasurer's Office. 2017, you'll all be glad to hear this, the 2017 winter tax data is being compiled now, and you're about to get another one of my semi-annual postcards. They should be out the first week of December. The due date for the winter tax bill is February 14th, 2018. Those who qualify may apply for deferment of the 2017 winter tax bill due date. The deferment will extend the due date of February 14, 2018 to April 1st, 2018. Please contact the Treasurer's Office for inquiries. Annette will help you if you want to get involved in this process. All property owners will be mailed the original winter tax billing. Mortgage companies request bills for escrow accounts they hold are mailed a duplicate copy of that for their billing. If you're unsure if your mortgage company has requested your tax bill to pay, please contact the Treasurer's Office. We can confirm who we mail those out to. 2018 pet tags are now available at the Treasurer's Office. The fee currently is $6. That will go up after the first of the year. Please bring certification of your rabies shots vaccination when purchasing these tags. Change the date on the Commerce Park meeting?
Scheduled for Monday.
20th? Okay, we're going to have a Commerce Park meeting on the 20th. If for those who would like to attend, it's going to be in this building, in this office, this room here. But we've got some data that Mike's going to bring forward about a program of planting some trees on the island and some beautification work that we're doing around here.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Just want to make the board aware some activity you'll be seeing in our Commerce Park probably this week. It was kind of a last-minute deal, but it was something we were able to use to our advantage. Some of the board members and maybe residents have noticed there's been some wood stakes in and around Meridian, Grow Road, the airport area. We initially had questions of what those were. We discovered that Wayne County received a large federal tree grant, and they needed areas to plant these trees, and they were looking in their right-of-ways. And my understanding is that the amount of land that they have left after all these tree grants that they get without utilities or anything that aren't in the right-of-way are limited. So obviously they were trying to hit the areas that they could, and we noticed 20-plus stakes down Meridian and Grow Road. They were pretty much in a straight line. There wasn't a lot of a design to them. So I worked with Commerce Park Commission Chairman Moran and myself, reached out to Wayne County, and tried to use this to our advantage. It did turn out they had a fair amount of tree inventory left behind, and they have to get them in the ground before this winter under the grant. With that, again, normally it has to go in their easements, but we were able to negotiate, and they were willing to put them further into the Commerce Park off of their property. So if you recall at our previous meeting, we just approved a landscaping master plan. We're a little bit out of order here, but again, we wanted to use this to our advantage. So Wayne County will be planting at their cost. They have their own equipment and everything, approximately 40 trees in the Commerce Park. Again, I estimate it should be later this week. We're going to do mostly what I would call streetscaping. We're going to line midway where the anchor is right out here on both sides with 5 trees each. These are pretty small trees. They're about 2-inch diameter, so it's going to take some time to fill in and grow. But as you can see on your diagram in front of you and up on the TV, those are planned areas and the species of trees that we're looking to do. So it's a nice spread, and it should look nice, and there's enough trees and availability that it kind of ties together nicely and dresses up the Commerce Park. Will be a little bit more maintenance for mowing, but I'd rather have them, I think, our way than the way they were laid out down Meridian and Grow and just slapped in the right of way. I think it looks a little nicer. Just wanted to give you an update. Thank you.
Our kids and our grandkids are going to wonder, was there ever a Navy base there?
I have nothing else.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Move on to trustee liaison reports. We'll start out with Mr. Bletcher.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I have the privilege again of serving on 2 commissions. The first is the Groseal Police Commission, and on behalf of the entire department and the commission, I wish to thank the community for voting in an overwhelming manner to support public safety. We consider these votes to be a referendum on how we're doing, and the support was out there. What you get for your dollars now is rather significant because officers last month drove 19,520 miles, answered 16 alarms, 32 rescue calls, and 43 fire calls. They responded to 911 calls in the amount of 78, with a total number of department calls for 981. They issued verbal warnings of 189 instances, made 3 felony arrests, and we are conducting interviews to replace retiring departing Sergeant Relic, who's leaving the department in December 18th. Those 3 interviews are scheduled tomorrow night beginning at 7 p.m. We do have the regular Police Commission meeting scheduled for 6 p.m. tomorrow, and also want to thank Chief Porcerelli for the work that he continues to do with the trapping and culling of the coyotes. The number is now at 51. We did have 2 attacks at the north end of the island, but Chief Porcerelli sent our specialists up there. They have increased the number to 51 animals that have been removed. It's a significant number. They're very smart. They're terribly difficult to track and to get a hold of, but we're now at 51, and that's an increase of about 8 since the last time we had the report. So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Thank you again for the millage. We pledge to continue to do the best we can, and as always, it's good to work with the fire department with these rescues. Chief Murdoch, thank you for that. Turning to the Open Space Greenways Commission, a couple of significant developments there. We've been contacted by island residents who wish to make a donation of land, and that has been transferred to Township Manager Dale Ream to take a look at and make sure that we have all of our ducks in order and we're not buying or accepting something that's going to be hazardous or otherwise expose the township to some unreasonable risk. December meeting of Open Space Greenway, we anticipate resulting in a concept proposal for acquisition of land. And I've also had the privilege of walking the Centennial Farm and been disappointed by the number of encroachments that appear on township property. We have a couple that come off of the street directly to the south and some significant encroachments on property from the numbered streets. And Township Manager Ream is going to be sending out a please cease and desist letter to those residents. And if that doesn't work, I would anticipate we're going to have Mr. Assorti involved in going to the next level. Some of those areas include significant mowing, a driveway, as well as planting of trees and a garden. And we're going to step up and address that. And I'm hoping it ends with a letter, but if not, Tom, you'll get some more business. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bletcher. Let's see, Trustee Nelson.
I have a couple areas that I have to deal with that are wonderful. One is recreation and one is festival commission. And I like to have one at a time, of course. Let's have Chad come up first and give us an update on the festival commission, and then Kim can follow Chad. We got to get his face on TV some more.
Mr. Duker, could you fix that for me, or Kim? I kind of updated you on the Island Fest Commission. We do have a meeting this Wednesday at 7 p.m. I guess Margie's going to put us up here because downstairs is a different group. It'll be so. These two new commissioners that you all voted in tonight, they get to vote and all that, right? At this coming Wednesday's meeting, they're officially on, right? Because we need. All right, that was my one question. You keep saying Channel 10. I have Channel 12 and have a lot of issues with that Comcast too. So just FYI. I came back from a conference this past weekend about festival events I get to attend every year, and I have a lot of great ideas. I see a lot of old acquaintances, and I meet a lot of new people. I also attended the Lady Gaga concert Tuesday night, so I'm on sensory overload with lighting and fire and flames and all kinds of cool stuff. So our festival commission's in for a good time this Wednesday. We welcome the public, and we would really like to I want to give a shout-out to the Halloween parade. I'd like to bring good news. It was chilly, it was cold, but they were in droves. It was a great parade. I recommend that we bring back the costume contest that we haven't had in a couple years because I think that we should do it down at the Commons, and the kids being a winner years ago for that costume contest. I think we need to bring that back. Miss O'Farrell, I know we have a lot of good things coming up with the Recreation Department, being the new chairperson for the Recreation Commission. We have a lot going on in that department, but Miss O'Farrell will take it from there. I just shout out on a couple of these events because you can't find them on the GI Connect app yet. So I know that Gardens of Hope's been there for a couple of years, but these events coming up soon are not on there. So we need to give a shout out to the Breakfast with Santa. Island Glow is, and then the Elf's Workshop. Yo.
Happy birthday, Chad.
Happy birthday,
thank you.
Chad.
I give good reports.
Happy birthday, Chad. Okay, I'll just continue with the just a couple of the items. Breakfast with Santa, Island Glow is December 1st. That's a tradition on the island from what I've learned. Very excited to be part of that. It starts at 6 o'clock. Entertainment on Macomb Commons. Santa Claus will be there, and Lighting ceremony at 7:30 in front of Perdino's. And then breakfast with Santa is the next morning at the farm starting at 10 a.m. If you'd like to pre-register, we would like pre-registration because we need to know how many pancakes to order and to make. So come to Water's Edge. Again, our winter hours are from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. If you need to, stop in after hours, give me a call. I can wait. I can stay later for you. Just give me a heads up if you need to drop things off. Also, we have a new program coming. Called the Elf Workshop, and this is on December 9th at the farm. This is where parents can drop their kids off. I have a staff that's going to be working with our kindergartens through 6th grade, and they are going to be making gifts for mom, dad, brother, grandma, grandpa. So it is $10, and that will cover the material. So they're making a craft. So it's just a nice thing for kids. If you don't want to go to the mall, drop them off with us, and we're going to be making some things for the family. So that's something new that we've put on the event list. Just a couple other things. Obviously, the golf course is closed. It's a little chilly, so just keep in mind. Again, if we do get a break in weather, please feel free to come and golf. We'll take you. The senior lunch is scheduled at the farm December 13th. TV Diner will be the caterer for that event, and Eddie O is the entertainment. Again, that is December 13th at the farm at 12:30. That is all I have. Any questions?
Ms. O'Farrell, recognizing your deep roots in Ohio, do you have any comments about the last week's Michigan State-Ohio game?
No comment at this time. My lesson.
Also, one other thing we need to bear in mind here, tomorrow is Miss O'Farrell's birthday, but I'm not going to talk about a number, but tomorrow's her birthday.
Happy birthday, Kim.
Happy birthday, Kim. Okay, thank you, Mr. Nelson. Mr. Budney.
First of all, DPS and ZBA, no birthdays. I'm gonna really go out on the limb here and say we are gonna have a ZBA meeting this month, which would be November 28th in this room. At least right now, that's what they tell me. Tomorrow is the DPS meeting. Nothing earth-shattering going on in our meeting, but I would encourage people to come out and say goodbye to Joe Keefe. Joe is the head of our wastewater treatment plant, and he's retiring. This will be his last meeting with us, and so I would encourage you to come out and say goodbye to him. He's been here a long, long time. He's done a wonderful job, and
Kim, I think
one other thing. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Kim, if I recall correctly, he was the operator of the plant when we took over from Wayne County.
That is correct. Yep. He was hired on with I think 29 years here.
Well, he's trained a replacement, so everything should continue to work, hopefully. So. All right, Mr. Belvesto.
I have nothing to offer.
Well, that will move us on to Township Attorney, Mr. Sorty. He does have something to report.
On November the 2nd, unfortunately, we had a trial over a FOIA issue with where the township was a party. As a municipality, those are never issues you like to get involved with or have, one from an expense perspective, but also from the perspective of clearly the FOIA law is designed for open and appropriate access to documentation and information to the public of what the township maintains. We did have a lawsuit over a request that was made to our police department. Unfortunately, there are a few attorneys downriver that have been involved in a process whereby they immediately request the arresting video, everything from the arresting videos to the arresting officers' personnel file and everything else you can think of in between. I'll keep it simple and say that the township held its ground. There was never an attempt to withhold information. It was about the process and the manner in which we presented it. There was a question about whether or not we had to produce it while the police department was still investigating the matter and while it was going on. And good news part of this is that we were successful at trial. The judge ruled in our favor, and I want to compliment Michelle and all of the police department for just an outstanding job, not only Michelle Rohr, not only as a witness, but the manner in which she keeps the documentation. It makes my job real easy in front of the judge at that point. But if you hear or see the type of information that goes on about the lawsuit, that's what was involved. In no way was the township trying to withhold any of the information. In fact, one of the findings of the court was that we attempted to make the information available, and the other party just refused to take it. It was more one of those technicality type of things where we're looking for attorney's fees under the statute, because the last demand that the township received where the attorney's fees exceeded the amount that they wanted for damages to the person. Again, there are cases where it's important that the township hold its ground. I was in constant contact with the township manager, talking about what numbers might be appropriate to resolve it or not. But in the end, we were successful at trial, and I think that's important for the township. Great job by the police department in maintaining the files and their ability to present the information that they had. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Sorty. Let's see. Mr. Ream. Oh, darn. I was for a little more time. Okay. I'll pick up where we've left off with things to do. And let's see. Margie gets everything. One thing coming up soon, November 18th. Canvas Cupcakes Coffee, 11 to 2 at Centennial Farm. Learn to paint a beautiful acrylic painting with our own professional artist, Donna Hinson. Supplies, lunch, beverage included. There's a brochure for this in the back of the room. Lights at Lions, this is a DDA function. Angela is hard at work just sprucing things up on Macomb Street. Anyway, applications available at Township Hall, the second annual Lights at Lions Park. Any Grosse Ile business or special interest group is eligible to sponsor and decorate a tree to light up the Macomb Lions Park. Questions, you can contact the DDA at extension 253 here, or angela.s@grosseile.com. I should have made Angela come tonight because I wanted to recap on Ladies' Night, which was on the 10th. What I'd heard, she'd put together 250 bags. You get the bag that says Shop on Macomb, and there's some stuff in it. I wasn't invited because it was a ladies' night. Apparently, all 250 bags were distributed and more showed up. So apparently, it was a very successful evening. So good. And she'll be doing it again next year, I hope. Covered Island Glow. We covered Breakfast with Santa. Okay, here's the big one. My wife, Ann Loftus, and Sue Zink have been working at this full time for about the last month. The Historical Society's annual Christmas boutique, 5 weekends of Christmas shopping and festivities beginning on November 24th through December 23rd. So, Dale, could you put these on the Elmo? You will be getting some stuff in the mail. That mailer is actually it's going to the post office tomorrow. Guess who's taking it over? So anyway, you'll all get one of those in the mail. The 48138 decal will be available for sale. I'll give you my usual pitch on the Historical Society boutique. Stuff you can't find anywhere else. Stuff you won't find anywhere else. Very unique. And again, if they don't have it, you don't need it. So please come out and support your It's the Historical Society's biggest fundraiser. I think the community would be a lesser place to live without the efforts of the Historical Society. So I gladly give my time. My wife has been putting a lot of her time in. Mrs. Zink has been putting her time in. Please support them. We'll be there. Santa will be there on the 9th. The Elf Workshop, we covered 10 to noon. And Wrapping Station. Santa and his elf will be after the event, after the Elf Workshop, will be over at the Customs House at the boutique from 1 to 4. So if you haven't been in by then, stop in. There's some neat stuff. And that concludes my report. With this time, we'll, let's see, move on to public comment. Mr. Clark.
Woody Clark, Park Lane. Legal fees.
Fees on the register to amount of $3,516.
Fire department. They put in some new, I'll call them paddles, but propellers in their boat that they have. I'd like to know how much they paid for the paddles. Pardon? Not new paddles, but they went from wooden
Propeller blades, is that what we're referring to?
were brown before, now they're black.
No, they've always been.
Okay. Here's something out of Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton made the following statement September 5th regarding the Trump administration formal announcement to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program. Judicial Watch applauds the Trump administration decision to rescind the Obama administration amnesty program for 800,000 illegals. Judicial Watch already exposed how the Obama administration bypassed security background checks for DAC recipients. And chocolate versus stroke. Good news for chocolate lovers. In a study of 55,000 people who ate 2 to 6 ounces of servings of chocolate per week had a 20% lower risk of atrial fibrillation, AFib, irregular heartbeat, and raises the risk for stroke, heart attack, and dementia. Then they who indulge only once a month. Also, I'd like to have a police car sitting on the south side of Meridian of Church Road. I almost whacked another one tonight coming home. They like to jump out when you're right on them. So I'd like to have the police department there, maybe give them a ticket and tell them not to do that.
Joggers, not deer, right?
No, this is cars.
Cars.
Oh.
Cars. They like to jump out when you're almost on Church Road. Okay.
But
okay, you're coming up on Church Road, and when you get close to it, now they want to come out. Pull out. Okay, pull out, come out. I gave him the horn and a nice signal.
I'm sure you did. All right. Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Mr. Supervisor, at this time, I'd like to thank Mr. Clark for the amount of work that he put in to dump the junk. I think a little recognition would be well warranted. That weekend, I worked with Woody for a couple of hours. I think I had the better part of the weather because it was merely raining, blowing hard and cold. Woody was out there Saturday and Sunday for more than a dozen hours, miserable weather. It was just absolutely unpleasant, cold, and Woody was there and directed everybody to where they could put their dozens of yards of yard waste, materials, wood, junk, trash, metal recycling. And Woody, I want to thank you. You did a great job. Clark's advised we're going to have no boats from now on. But Woody, again, thank you.
Woody, thank you. I did see the boats come in on the... No. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Other public comment? All right, with none offered, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, wait a minute. I have one. I'm sorry. I had...
Real quick, there's a community CRC recreation meeting November the 16th at 7 p.m. at Township Hall. Correct, Kim? Okay. Thank you.
Now
I move to
moved by Trustee
adjourn.
Bundy, seconded by By Supervisor Loftus. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We'll call the meeting adjourned at, let's see, make it 53. Thanks for coming tonight, and have a nice Thanksgiving.